Good morning, everyone. My name is Beth Venn. I'm a board member of the Wyoming Arts Alliance, and I just want to welcome you to this morning's, or it's really afternoon, right? This afternoon's webinar. This is part of the online arts and culture series hosted by WyAA, the Wyoming Arts Alliance. I also want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Just a reminder to those of you who don't know, the Wyoming Arts Alliance is the state arts advocacy group that hosts professional development, works to address areas of need for the creative community, and educates decision makers about the impact of our community and our creative economy in Wyoming. So one thing I do want to say, and you'll get a reminder about that, is we invite you to join us at the Arts and Culture Day at the State Capitol on Friday, February 27th. And we will send out a save the date next week. We'll have coffee, we'll have letters to legislators, introductions in both chambers, and the annual Arts Advocacy Award luncheon. So I now want to welcome Rachel Clifton from Wyoming Arts Council to share about their recent roadmap for the arts project as a resource for artists and arts organizations. So Rachel, take it away.
Thanks, Beth. Unfortunately, I can't see who else here. I see Chloe and Jen Wilkins and Amara. So hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. When Ryan O'Neill, who is a board member for WyAA, and I were talking about the Online Arts and Culture series and what might be helpful information, this theme kind of emerged of new resources, new year, new resources, because WyAA has some new exciting things happening. The Arts Council has some new and exciting things happening. We are excited to roll out this new resource for organizations, and we hope it's helpful. I'm just going to take a few minutes to kind of talk about what it is and walk through some of the slides so you get a sense of what this roadmap is, and then we'll welcome Rainey to the conversation as well. So I am going to, I'm sending you a request, Beth, to share my screen.
Okay, I will allow it.
Thanks.
Sure. It's the least I could do.
All right. Maybe. Here we are. All right. So hopefully everyone can see this. So Rainey Robeson, who you'll be hearing from in a little bit, designed the Readiness Roadmap for the Arts. It's a PDF that's currently available on our website right now under the News tab. So as things were a bit chaotic this summer, and we were waiting to learn about funding and what the future of the arts funding looks like, we were having conversations at the Arts Council about how else we can provide resources to organizations and nonprofits and the people that we work with on the day-to-day. And so part of that conversation was, what resources can we share? Where can we look for areas of mutual aid where maybe other people have already done the legwork or have the information available, and how can we both best share that out with everyone? So this concept of a roadmap came about. So it's a bit of a choose your own adventure is how we're referring to it. Really, it's a compilation. I'll try not to make you dizzy. A compilation of resources that the Arts Council staff have pulled together. And we say it's a choose your own adventure because you can kind of do a little self-reflection on where your organization is. Maybe you've had recent board changes or leadership changes. Maybe your leadership team has been in place for 10 years, and you're wanting to take some things in a new direction or do some internal reflection on succession planning, things like that. So really it's in steps. So you can go through it sequentially, or you can take a look at where you're at and kind of skip to that step itself. So if you start at step one, so maybe you have some time as a staff or as a board to really think about your organization's current structure, what your internal processes look like, and ways that you can strengthen your internal processes. And so there's a series of questions at each step that you can kind of use either as a leadership team, as a board, as a staff, to really examine kind of where you're at, what things you should maybe be considering if you're at this stage. And then there are these action item suggestions, things that you can maybe do depending on availability of budget, availability of time, some things that you might want to look at as an organization. And then there's links. And if you click on some of these links, so if we click on the board link, and now I'm going to have to change my screen share, aren't I? Hang on. It will take you to a Google Drive. Can you all see the Google Drive now? Maybe? Yes? Great. So it takes you to these series of things within Google Drive. So step one, you clicked on boards. Here's an article that shares some examples of policy manuals. There's links to other board development kind of tools. And then there are worksheets as well that you can use, take what you need, take what resonates with you, skip what doesn't resonate with you. So the resources are really a series of articles, links, some worksheets. Thanks, Mandy. Mandy dropped the link to the roadmap into the chat, so you can go right to that resource on our website. So there's a bunch of different tools that really you can choose what works best for you. If you need to dig into spreadsheets, there's spreadsheet templates. So as we kind of move through the roadmap itself, it's progressive in the sense of, maybe step one is some bare bones internal things. Step two becomes a little more outwardly focused. How are you telling the story of your organization? How are you connecting with your community? How are you building partnerships? That sort of thing. So the roadmap also kind of moves in this progression of more inwardly focused to outward. And so again, step two has some questions you might want to ask yourself, some action items. Maybe at this point, it's time to revisit your strategic plan. Your internal documentation and processes are good. Your staff knows what they're doing. They're clear on their roles. And now you can maybe start planning organizationally a little more strategically. And then again, here's links. There's, project management evaluation. Are your programs and projects actually working? Are they serving the goals that you had established in step one? Just to zip through this a little bit. So step three, again, moving more into your community. How are you building your partnerships? How are you expanding your reach into your community? Questions to ask, this is a good check-in point, right? Like those programs, those processes and procedures that you put in place in step one, checking back in at step three. Action items, are there other people that you can be reaching out to build those partnerships, to strengthen your community? Those sorts of questions. Again, links, you can either skip to the thematic thing that you want to explore, or you can go, there's a folder in Drive. If you click on I'm just like bouncing between screens here. If you click on explore all step three options, it repeats those advocacy stakeholders. There's a worksheet, there's an article. Again, picking and choosing what works best for you. Now I'm going to bounce back to the roadmap. We also put in this fun little detour. In our conversations with WyAA and with some of our other partners, we're talking a lot about what is advocacy, what's the difference between advocacy and lobbying and education. And what I think is helpful about this is applying what we call an advocacy lens. So as you're thinking about how you're building partnerships, how you're reaching out to whether they're elected officials at the local level, at the state level, municipality level, what makes the most sense for your organization? So if you wanted to reach out to your mayor's office and say, here's the great economic impact that we're having in our community, you would frame that from an economic development lens and a creative economy lens. If you're talking with educators, or if you are an educator and you want to advocate for continued public funding for the arts in K-12 schools, you would apply an education lens. So it's really focusing on what your organization does, as well as who you're talking to and what's going to make the most sense, what's going to resonate the most with them. So there's some advocacy resources in here too, from both a policy and a storytelling or marketing standpoint, that we thought, whether you're at step 1, step 4 on the roadmap, this advocacy lens, this detour to thinking about how you're sharing the work that you do is an important step. And then finally, the fourth step is this sustain and grow step. So hopefully you've have a great foundation under your organization. You're in a good place. You've got some financial stability. So how can you lock that in and then also start looking to the next 5 year? What's your 10-year plan? What's the role of your organization in your community down the road? So again, those questions for some self-reflection, some suggestions for action items, and back to these links in the Google Drive for tools and resources that you can use to implement some of this. And then Rainey included this great summary, this index at the end, so you can skip right to, say you go through this whole process and you want to make sure that you have these at your fingertips. Here's a great index directly to all of those links. And then of course, reach out, because part of providing resources is being a resource. And we like to say that at the Arts Council, that we ourselves are resources, and don't ever hesitate to reach out. So that's the roadmap in a 10-minute spiel. Thanks again, Mandy, for posting that link. I think some of you have noticed that we have a revamped website. And so part of that is going to be a resource hub where things like this and those direct resources are also going to be available to continue that conversation and to be able for us to respond to what people need in the field, and for us to be able to pull together and post valuable information, some tools and things like that that people can use in the day-to-day. So that's the readiness roadmap for the arts. It's out in the world now.
So I would say I am not highly skilled at hosting a webinar like this, but if people have questions, maybe you could raise your hand in the chat and then I can give you the ability to speak, if that makes sense. Does
Yeah.
anyone have any particular questions or want to carry this conversation further in any way with Rachel? I think it really is going to be an amazing and helpful resource with the roadmap and the other resources that you all are putting together, both, as you say, for artists themselves and arts organizations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we're hopeful.
Okay, well, I also don't want to hold people if there are no questions. So if you want to just throw things into the chat as you think of them, feel free to do so. But in the meantime, I am now going to bring onto the panel Rainey Robeson, who Rachel has referenced in her discussion. Rainey is the founder of a marketing and communications firm for the arts called Nepture Sugar, and we're so happy to have her working on all of this with us, with the Arts Council and the Arts Alliance. Because Rainey has a background in arts education and graphic design, and she's very immersed in the art world and the creative economy of Wyoming. So I want to just say a few words about this other kind of marketing program that Rainey is working on. It's called Art Powers Wyoming, which is a very strong statement. But of course, with all the work that we've done with the data roundup, we know, in fact, that that is true. So based on the State of the Creative Sector report, the Wyoming Arts Alliance identified the need to promote the visibility of arts and culture throughout the state. So we have been working with Rainey, the founder of Nepture Sugar Marketing, to develop a logo and creative content to promote the arts throughout the state. Rainey is here to give us a sneak peek of the logo, and we will be sharing more about this campaign in the next month. And this will primarily be a social media-based campaign focused on the value of the arts to Wyoming, and I'm sure Rainey can share with us some other details. So give me a moment, and I will have her join us. Rainy,
I am here.
there you are. You're with
Hello.
us. Perfect. It's good when things work.
Yes, I know. I know. Well, thank you for inviting me to be here today, and I really appreciate Rachel, you talking about the readiness roadmap. I just wanted to add that it's an interactive PDF. You can jump around, and like Rachel said, you can choose your own adventure and find what resources are available to you. To move on to the Arts Alliance project, the Arts Powers Wyoming. I thought I would show maybe 7 slides or something like that to give everyone a little bit of background on the campaign and where it's headed. So I will need to share screen, and it probably won't be a very, very long presentation. And you and I had only touched base before, so 5 to 7 minutes. Is that sounding good?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. Let's
Now,
see.
do I need to give you the opportunity to share
It's
screen?
looking like it will do it. I just want to make sure I'm here. So are you seeing the presentation here?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to make it full screen. So I was honored to be asked to come up with a slogan and a slogan, a slogan and a logo mark for an arts advocacy campaign for the Arts Alliance. As you all know, federal arts funding is suffering greatly, and I think the fear is that that will happen statewide. And so we wanted to provide some language and some shareable assets that you all could use to, talk about why the arts matter in Wyoming. So I wanted to quickly just give you a little bit of background about the logo mark, and again, kind of where we're headed on this. So based on, I guess there were many listening sessions that Beth and many other people did throughout the state, and combined with some research that was done at the university. And basically, WyAA came up with these 4 campaign pillars, that these are the values that are important to the arts in Wyoming. So inspiration and creativity, well-being and community, heritage and traditions, and economic impact. And as I was thinking through these campaign pillars, I came up with the slogan, Art Powers Wyoming. And if you were to fill in the blanks for Art Powers, I really believe it hits on all of these campaign pillars. It powers inspiration, it powers well-being, it powers heritage and traditions, which is something that's very important to the state, and it definitely powers economic impact. So it was something that could encompass all of these pillars all together. To give you a little bit of background about the logo, we were looking at a lot of, I guess we wanted to be Wyoming, but not, overly Wyoming with cowboy hats and horseshoes and, things like that. We wanted to give it a sense of Wyoming, but, we found some inspiration in these kind of vintage logos. Also, there's a lot of brands. If there's anything that's Wyoming, it's a brand. And some of you may not be familiar, but that's where you cross it got their brand, or where the word comes from. So ultimately, one thing I wanted to mention too that I thought was really interesting about this is a concept in marketing. This is where the word branding came from in marketing, was the idea of branding an animal and creating something that is repeatable and that people recognize. So we landed on this. We went through several iterations of it, but we landed here, and I'm really happy with where we landed. And a couple things about this. I think it has a lot of energy. It's tilted. It really feels like an active logo. But because there are lots of types or lots of mediums and lots of types of art, we wanted to create something that was kind of all inclusive of everybody. And the idea, if you can see this, of this little nib pen, is that ideas usually start with something that's written down. So it was something that didn't lean too much on painting or ceramics or something like that arts encompasses a lot of ideas, and of course has the pronghorn horns. We've created a few versions, and some have texture and look a little more rustic. We played with this debossed version that you'll probably see on t-shirts. And we also created two versions. So a semicircle version and a circle version. So one giving a little bit more credit to the Arts Alliance, who has worked really hard for this. And so we're really excited to launch this. But the next steps are we are coming up with social media assets. Okay. So there are going to be, I think, 4 social media assets. They're already prepackaged, ready to go. You can share them. You don't have to do anything. But then we will also provide you with Canva templates. So you can insert your own photo and start to share these images on social media and this logo. And so the idea, again, going back to the brand, is we wanted it to look like something that just was stamped. Just we keep stamping that idea on there that the arts matter in Wyoming. So the idea is that people are going to see this logo over and over and over as you share it, and it will take this form. So I mocked up solely for the purpose of this meeting these photos just to kind of show you how it will look online. So again, the idea is to create some consistency and that people keep seeing this logo over and over and over on social media. And these are all just borrowed images, just for the sake of demonstration. And the last thing is that, we've talked about how this can roll over into collateral, stickers, coasters, all sorts of t-shirts and things like that. So I think it's a really versatile logo mark. We accidentally got the date wrong initially, so ignore the date on here. It is actually 1890. But so yeah, that's going to roll out. And then the Arts Alliance is also going to be creating a toolkit for arts organizations so they know exactly how where these assets are, how to use them, and how the campaign is rolling out. So that is really what we have, but I'm really excited about it. And again, I really appreciate being a part of this campaign.
Thanks so much,
Sure.
Rainey. That was great. And so I just want to again ask all of you who are here to either respond in the chat if you'd like, or raise your hand, and I'm happy to allow you to speak. Any feedback, any thoughts, anybody?
Oh, yay. Positive
Good.
feedback. Yay.
How will we receive this information on how to use this material is what Jennifer Wilkins is asking.
Okay. Hi, Jennifer, by the way. So that's going to be a little bit from me and a little bit from WyAA. So basically we're calling it a quick start guide. So you will get information about, here's some suggested language. Here are the Canva templates. This is how the types of imagery that we would love to see out there. WyAA is putting together the official toolkit, like putting it all together online, and we'll pass it on to you. But that's basically what you're going to expect is kind of almost like a mini branding guide to give you a little bit of information about the logo, how it can be used, how it shouldn't be used. And then, like I said, it will give you very clear guidance on how to use these assets. So that is coming soon. We're wrapping it up right now. I'm not sure exactly the date that WyAA will put it out to the world, but yeah, does that answer your question, hopefully, Jennifer? Yes. Okay, good.
Great. Yeah, we'll notify everyone about this in the upcoming mailings of WyAA and perhaps even the Wyoming Arts Council, right, Rachel? Yeah, when all of this is really available to use. But it's been a bit of a process and a great process. I think that we really are moving along in a very positive direction in terms of having information from the data roundup that really supports this idea that art powers Wyoming. And most importantly, I think that Wyoming isn't always seen as a state that has a powerful amount of arts going on. But we all know that that's not true, right? Like we know that there's so much going on across Wyoming. All we need to do is take what's already fantastic, and elevate it, right? And elevate the visibility of what's happening here just to gain more, just to begin to start, as I see it, to begin to kind of change minds about this perception of Wyoming, where most people don't think about the arts, where to change that to this sense that, yes, we do have arts that are happening here. We're all working together to strengthen that in order to strengthen the communities here. So it's all part of a process, but I feel we're on a really terrific trajectory at this point. So I think we all have a lot to be excited about in the future. So again, I don't want to hold people longer than need be. So I think we are at the end of our webinar, and I just want to remind everyone that you will be receiving information about attending the Arts Advocacy Day at the Capitol on February 27th. And I really wish that you all, I hope that you all will be able to join us. So thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks, Rainey.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for all of you who attended, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.